Hello, my name is Daniel Natharo, and welcome to Natharo Presents. Now, if this is the first time you're watching one of my documentaries, let me tell you what they're about. I usually go from town to town seeking out a local legend, a myth, if you will. But now this documentary will be very, very different. You see, I got contacted by the Winters family. Amasol Winters had died. Now, according to coroner reports, it was a natural death and there's nothing suspicious. But the events that happened to Amasol Winters, my apologies, the late Amasol Winters, the events that happened to the late Amasol Winters suggest something else, suggest something sinister in the Winters family's eyes. Now, he was very beloved. They all call him, even his siblings and his elders, all call him Uncle Amasol. The reason for that is Uncle Amasol was known as the most friendliest man. Some of his nieces and nephews, when I spoke to them, referred to him as Santa Claus, but all year long. Also, Uncle Amasol liked sports. And when I went through the house, well, let me show you. Now, as I was saying, in his youth, the late Amasol Winters was heavily into sports. Basketball, football, bowling, everything. He just loved sports. He wasn't the best at them, but he was pretty good. But he never made it to the top. Like, he never made it to the NFL or NBA or the PBA, those things. But he was pretty good at what he did. And the proof I'm going to show you right now is his beloved trophy case. Right here. Yes, those are the various trophies that the late Amasol Winters won while he was young. So now, as you can imagine, he had a lot of energy and a lot of vigor. He loved to play with the kids because it reminded him of his youth. You're probably wondering, well, if he loved kids so much, why didn't he have any of his own? Now, unfortunately, I don't know the reasons why, but the late Amasol Winters never got married. So therefore, he never had children. So he cherished his nieces and nephews like gold and wanted to make sure they had the best youth that they could ever have. That's why they called him the Santa Claus all year long. On April 21st, that is when, unfortunately, Amasol Winters had died. Now, as I stated previously, according to the coroner's report, he died of natural causes. But many in his family felt it was something different because of what happened to him the last month of his life. Also, this got compounded by when some family members tried to clean up in his house and encountered what they said was unusual activities in the house. And that's what I'm here to investigate. Now, the last month of the late Amasol Winters' life, or Uncle Amasol, I think I like that one better. He started telling the family that he would hear knocking on his door at night, people yelling and screaming in his backyard, and when he went to go look, he didn't see anyone. Some of the family members were concerned. Some would stay over, overnight with him just to see what's going on, but they didn't experience anything when they were there. So a lot in the family thought maybe he was just losing it. He was undergoing severe cognitive decline. But also, the late Amasol Winters, or Uncle Amasol, he had a diary. Now, I went through the diary, and I put some of the pages on my clipboard. I'm going to read them to you. Hold on a second. Now, I found some of these to be intriguing, and I can see why the family thinks something else is going on. The first one was in a, hold on a second. Okay. Sorry about that. I had to get the papers in order. I thought I had them in order. That's pretty strange. All right. March 3rd. It has been relatively quiet, but a few odd things are happening here and there. Like, I was downstairs just cooking when I hear the toilet flush upstairs. I'm the only one in the house, so who could that be? I grabbed any weapon that I could. My baseball bat was down here with me. Now I proceeded upstairs with my trusty baseball bat. The light was on in the bathroom. I could tell from the hallway. I slowly crept up to the bathroom, and then the light went off. My heart was beating. I was nervous. I grabbed my baseball bat. I inched closer. I yelled the warning. I said, whoever's there, you better get out. You better get out of my house now. No one answered. I slowly opened the door with my hand, then with my foot so that I could grab the baseball bat just in case someone popped out. I slowly peered into the bathroom, but no one was there. I checked the other rooms upstairs, but there was no one there. Then, when I started to walk down the steps, I heard someone say, "Okay, Amasol, I'll see you later." And the door slammed. I raced downstairs to see who it was. I looked out the window, but I didn't see anyone. What frightened me the most was the voice of the person was my own. Okay, so from that excerpt, and that'll be a frightening situation if it happened to any of us. I mean, that sounds royally scary. But in that situation, where he said at the end, the voice sounded like his own, that signifies that maybe he thinks, maybe it was him, maybe it was his cognitive decline. But now, the next excerpt that I'm going to read from his diary, I'm not going to lie, I don't believe in anything paranormal, anything weird or crazy, but this one, it sent me a chill. Okay. This is only 2 days later, March 5th. I asked my friend Bill to stay over and told him what was happening. We watched the football game together, and then at some point he said he wanted to get more snacks. So he went into the kitchen to get some snacks. It was about 20 minutes later, and Bill still hadn't come out the kitchen with the snacks. So I was worried. I thought maybe he fell down or something and I didn't hear about it, or I didn't hear it. So I raced into the kitchen and he wasn't there. So I looked into the closet to see if he was just messing with me. Nope, he wasn't there. I searched the whole house. There was no sign of it. I didn't know what to think. So I called his house and his wife answered. I had told her what happened and that I can't find Bill. Does she know his whereabouts? His wife started laughing. She said, "What are you on about? Are you playing with me?" She said she was with Bill all day long. I dropped the phone. So I thought to myself, if Bill was home with his wife all day long, Then who the hell was in the house with me the whole time? Okay. That one was that was more intense. That that was more intense, but it could still be explained, maybe, and that he was so afraid because of his cognitive decline and things that were happening to him, that he just, in order for him to not be too scared, he imagined that his friend was there watching the football game so that he can feel safe. So that one could also be explained the way too. Now, there's other excerpts in his diary, but I'll read those later. For now, we're going to start the investigation. Now, how are we going to do this investigation? You know what? Let me prepare, and then we'll get started. I finished talking on the phone with one of the late Amasol Winters' nephews, and he gave me some insight into more of the personality of Amasol before his passing. And what he said was that he was like the more fun uncle, and he used to play games with them a lot, play hide and seek. He had a slide in the backyard, and so they got to like play on the slide, and all these other games that he told me. So processing in my mind, and I was like, well, I'm trying to draw out the spirit of whatever's here, or Amasol's spirit. And well, one thing that a lot of like psychics or mediums will tell you is that you maybe want to recreate some of the events that happened in the house while the person was living, and then maybe that would kind of like summon the essence of the spirit or something. I honestly don't believe in this, but this is just to explain what I'm about to do. So one of the things that his family member was telling me about, one game that they used to play was they used to play hide and seek. But the way they used to play it was they would turn off all the lights. Okay, they would turn off all the lights because the place wasn't too small, so there wasn't that many hiding spots. So they would turn off all the lights, right? One person would go into the closet, which is right here, and they'll go in, close the door. They will start counting, and the other people would hide all around. And then, after they count or whatever, they come out and they play hide and seek. That's how they play hide and seek. So we're going to do that. And that's to recreate an event that happened while the deceased was alive. Okay, let's go. So we got the game plan. And let's see if we conjure up anything. Or maybe we don't want to conjure up anything. All right. So if I remember the game correctly, I would just close the door. All right. So if I remember the game correctly, oh man, this place is a little messy. Okay, so I'm supposed to count to, 10 or 20. I guess we're going to count to 10. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ready or not, here I come.
He's coming.
I'm bugging out. I thought I heard something. Okay, but it's probably the howl of the wind outside because it's raining and windy outside. All right, so, okay. I thought it was an opening. All right, let's switch the camera angle. Okay, let's find the rest of the family. Or we hope we don't. All right, so I'm coming to find you. Okay. Hold on a second. I thought I closed that. Let me kick it in. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to freak myself out. All right, so is anyone behind there? Okay. Let's look. Hey, there's no one there. Okay. That was nice and fun. Oh, shoot. Wow, this thing came off. Okay. Yeah, just pause the video to put that back up because I don't want to forget that I knocked it down and then come back later and then scare myself again. You know what? I think someone's underneath there. You know, why don't we just go check it out? Okay. Yeah. Hope nothing pops out on us. Oh, wow. I thought we were going to get the reveal and we got another sheet. That's weird. That seems like the same sheet. Okay. That's odd. All right. Nope. But it looks pretty dirty. All right. The only thing scary there is the dirt. All right. Ready or not. Man, the boiler went off and now it's like too quiet down here. Still feels chilly though. Who's behind there? I'm gonna catch you. Of course not. I'm down here by myself. Okay. Random sweater looking like a person. I swear I hate when the boiler goes out because it gets real quiet down here. All right, so I wouldn't say that was a fail. I mean, I didn't expect anything to happen, but you know, and I probably repeated this 1,000 times during the video in this last segment, but we have to reenact what they did. And so that was only one thing. There's other games that, you know, he described they played, and so we're gonna reenact those. Some of them are a little creepy. You know, this is actually not the creepiest one. There's some that's like, you know, what the heck? You know, this is pretty fun. This is pretty fun. And what's coming up would be more fun. Okay, so with the first test of, you know, to see if there's any paranormal activity, what happened was exactly what I thought was gonna happen, which was nothing's gonna happen. But you know what? We're gonna continue on. You know, I want to make sure I'm thorough with this, so we're gonna play another kids game and see what happens. Tic-tac-toe. That sounds cool. All right, so let's see how we're gonna do this. All right, so okay. All right, Spirit, I will let you take the first turn. All right, you be the O. Make your move. Okay. Well, I'll make your move for you. So I'll put the O, and then me, I'll be the X. Okay, maybe I had to define the terms. Okay, so Spirit, at any moment you can make your move. You're the O. Okay. Well, Spirit, I'll make the O for you, and then I'll make the X for myself. All right, so it's your move. At any point in time, you could pick up the pen and have at it. Wait a second, what? Okay. But I didn't see the... Hold on. Am I seeing correctly? Yeah. That's a little bit strange. All right, let me check the let me see what happened. All right, I had to take a minute to process what just happened. I reviewed the footage. Then I had to push my heart back down my throat. I don't even know what to say right now. I'm speechless. That's the first time something like that ever happened to me. Okay, well, we're gonna continue to do more stuff. I'm not gonna lie to you. Right now, my heartbeat is like doop, 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 doop. And that's just from a simple game of tic-tac-toe. Has me scared shitless for a second. But we're gonna continue. I'm sorry, I'm foggy. All right. I meant to come out here earlier, but I totally forgot about it. But I just had to get some fresh air, you know, think about what just happened and clear my head. Okay, in the back here, Amasol's nieces and nephews said they used to like pinch a tent because it was like their little mini forest, and Uncle Amasol would tell campfire stories back here and scare them half to death. What are those? That looks pretty cool. I wonder what those are. Wait, how'd I get back in here? Come on, I just stepped 2 steps in here. Come on, I didn't go that far. All right. Yeah, I'm really bugging out at this point. Yeah, there's nothing out here. I'm thinking I'm letting the night get to me. Well, as they say, the show must go on. You know, when I start saying stupid shit like that, you can tell I'm nervous. Okay, so we're gonna do something else that one of the nephews told me that a game that they played. First, I gotta turn off the light. Okay. All right, and then I gotta go over here and light this candle. Light. Okay. Wow. All right. Okay. So I forgot which nephew was it, Amos or Raymond or whoever told me about this before I came here, of course. Who told me this? Anyway, that's not important. All right, they used to play a game. They used to wait till Uncle Amasol would be asleep, right? And they would creep down to the basement. The reason why they would creep down to the basement was because Uncle Amasol had some candles, like a whole bunch of candles along the wall, and they were basically copying a scene from a movie, and it's like a game they played. So they didn't tell me the name of the movie, but I think I've seen it probably in the past too, when I was younger. Basically, the people would be on a round table, and there'll be 7 to 8 people, and there'll be like a medium, and they'll all have candles next to them, and they will light the candles, and all the lights will be off, and then the medium will try to draw out or call to the spirits. You know, I've probably seen that in a couple of films. I think, yeah, a couple of films probably copied that scene, so it's not super original. Okay, so they said they would each hold a candle. Freaking out. Okay. I don't even like the way my face looks in the camera. I swear, like, oh, I feel something. I haven't even started yet. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't. Just, I look creepy as I'm filming myself, man. Let me hold. Oh no. That freaking scared me even more. Okay. Do I hold? I don't know. I don't like the way I look. It's freaking bugging me out. Okay. So they used to hold the candle like this, and then they'll move the candle back and forth and say, "Oh, spirits, call to me. Oh, spirits, call to me. Oh, spirits, call to me. All spirits, call to me. Tell me your name. Who are you, spirits? Who's there? Oh, spirits, call to me." What the heck is that? That's the light from the boiler. Was that? Oh, that was strange. Okay. Well, anyway, I called. No one answered. All right. Yeah. Oh.
Hello.
What the heck? Okay, I'm really bugging out here. Yeah. They told me a story too. One day, when they came down to the basement to do this, seance type thing, or whatever you call this game, they were doing the, "Oh, spirits, call to me. Oh, spirits, I hear thee," and all that crazy chanting nonsense. And then all of a sudden, they heard like footsteps. So they all got quiet. Like, who's that? Who's that? So they looked at each other to see if anyone from the group was missing, like someone was playing around. No one was missing. And then they heard the footsteps again. But now they knew which direction the footsteps were coming from, so they turned around. They saw something like deep in the shadow. It was walking towards them. But they couldn't make out what it was because it was all black. And then when they got really close, Lisa started screaming. And they were just like all running around. And the hooded, there's nothing there. The hooded figure started running towards them. Then he tripped and fell. It was Uncle Amasol. He figured out what they were doing, and he decided to spook them. Yeah. I mean, honestly, when I was talking to family members, different ones, and they were telling me all these, different stories when they were kids, I felt kind of jealous, I know I'm going off subject here, but I felt kind of jealous. I was like, man, I didn't have that much fun when I was a kid. My parents were strict. All right. Well, nothing happened except for me jumping for no reason. Okay. So, there were no spirits. Okay. What? I saw a light. It's like, I see. What the hell? Okay. Will you blow out? What the? Blow out. Okay. Go. Go. Okay, we had success. I mean, well, actually, no, we didn't have success. Nothing happened, but okay. So I gotta sit down and brainstorm. Maybe I'll give one of them a call and find out what else they did for fun. There's some scary kids, man. This is what they did for fun. All right. Some of the family members also told me a fun game that they played that it basically emulated the show that they watched. I watched it too. I think the name of the show was like Soul Train or something like that. Like Soul Music, Soul Train or something like that. Anyway, at the end of the show, they will have something where they have like a crowd on one side and a crowd on the other side, and someone will come down the middle and then they will start dancing. So when there was a huge family like party or something like that, all the kids would come out, and someone, all the boys on one side, all the girls on the other side, and then someone will come down and they'll go down the middle and they'll start dancing. So I'm not really a dancer, but I'm gonna try to emulate that moment, and let's see what happens. All right, so yeah, let's see what happens. So it's like on one side there's people, they're cheering, they're like, yeah, go, go, go. And then on the other side they're like, come on, man, let's do it, yeah. And then someone comes down and was like, don't. Yeah, they'll be doing something crazy like that. Yeah, I remember the show. I loved it. Let me try another one. So yeah, everybody's on the side like, come on, yeah, go. Everybody, let's go to the rhythm. All right. Yeah, something silly like that, you know. And then you have some doing dances like this, like they come up to the camera, they're yeah, you know, and then yo, who's there? What the fuck? All right. Yeah, let's cut that short. I don't know if it's me. I'm just, every time I do something now, it feels like you know, being alone in this house, yeah, really starts to play tricks on you. And I mean, I've been in other places before and never been this freaked out. I think the circumstances and the story, and I guess talking to all the family members, this being totally different, you know, case than what I'm used to. Really starting to bug me out. But I mean, I'm just talking through my emotions now to get them out. It's quite an experience. Anyway, let's get on to the next task. All right, so we're back, and this time is not a game. All right, so this time is not a silly game that they played. Hold on, let me fix this light. You know, I'm gonna have to adjust it again in a minute. Nope. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so oops. This is not a game. Now I wanted to emulate everything that they did perfectly, but I can't. The reason I can't is because it's very cold outside. But I just, you know, got off the phone with what's his nephew Tom. Yeah, I think it was Tom. I just got off the phone with his nephew Tom. Now he said his best moment, you know, his most fun moment with Uncle Amasol was when they went to the forest and they did camping. You know, so they were having fun camping. So, you know, that's his best memory. And I was like, why? I was like, I mean, you know, I know you like kids like camping and stuff like that, but it's like, why is that like your most favorite thing? I mean, for me, most favorite thing is like sitting home watching TV, eating popcorn, watching movies and stuff like that. That's like oh man, why I keep bumping into that thing? That's my favorite thing. you know. So anyway, Tom explained that Uncle Amasol would, light a fire at the end of the night before they go to bed. I was like, man, I don't think I would like this before I go to bed. But anyway, so before they go to bed, right, they'll sit around the campfire and he'll tell like a campfire story, like a scary story. And he said, it will be set up right because be real quiet, like couldn't hear anything. Just a little bit of the wind rustling. And Uncle Amasol will tell them, be quiet. Because if you interrupt this story, the creature in the story will appear behind you. And that will freak them out. They're kids, so that will freak them out. You're like, okay, I'm going to tell you a story. So I'm going to pick one of his stories from his journal to try to emulate what he did, and see if that draws something out here. All right. So, well, the campfire, usually the light would be coming up like that. Like, how do they do that? Oh yeah, like this. Okay. Like that. Kind of hard to read the. Okay, I think I remember the story that he had. Let me see if I can get the light right. Okay, it was like this. March 11th. I was walking down the aisle in the store, doing my regular daily shopping. But I felt like someone was watching me. So I looked to the left, I looked to the right. I didn't see anyone. The store was pretty empty. So as I was walking through the aisles, picking stuff up, putting them in the shopping cart, I heard someone say, "Oh, get that, it's on sale." So I turned around. There was no one there. So I continued to keep walking down the aisle. I turned over to the next aisle. I noticed something strange. Usually the supermarket would be playing music, but today it was real quiet. There was no music. So now I'm finished shopping. I start walking down the aisle towards the register. And then someone bumps me from behind. So I turn around and say, "Hey, what's your problem, buddy?" There was no one there. Then I looked to the other side at the wall. I saw my shadow and another shadow standing right next to me. When I looked behind me, there was nothing there. Whose shadow was that? Whose shadow was that? Yeah, so he would do something like that with them and would scare the crap out of them. You know what? the more I talk to the, especially the nieces and nephews, because the his cousins, Uncle Amasol's cousins, and the ones his generation, his age, um, barely told me anything. It was more the nieces and nephews. But the more I think about it, they talk about how he's such a fun uncle, and all the games they played and all the games they loved and all the things he did with them. Some of the things seem pretty dark. I mean, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's because of the way I grew up. Because I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I grew up with strict parents. Um, I don't even remember being allowed to watch a horror flick until I was probably 16 or 17 years old. They were like strict, like super strict. And the games that these kids were playing, I mean, they're not kids now, but when they were kids, the games they were playing, oof, I wouldn't even think of half of that stuff. And the campfire story, when you told me over the phone, and I was just like visualizing it. I mean, just visualizing. I was like, man, I'll run into my tent. I won't come out, and the very next day, I'll be kicking and screaming like, "Send me back home! Send me back home! Send me back home! No, let's go home. I don't want to be here no more." But I guess there's a difference between, like, I guess someone sheltered like me. I didn't get to experience life really until I grew up. Until I was an adult, and these guys, man, they had the best childhood ever. Well, that was another test, and nothing happened. Although I'm not gonna lie, this, from the tic-tac-toe game earlier till now, it's like do, 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 do. I'm not gonna lie, it's like, wow. Okay, to the Winters family, I have completed the investigation into the late Amasol Winters case, Uncle Amasol. I have done what you asked. You specifically asked me to record everything that I do to make sure I actually did the investigation, which I did. The methodology that I used was the one me and the family discussed, which was I was going to recreate events that happened in the house when the deceased was alive to kind of draw out whatever unseen force or paranormal force or whatever you call it, whatever your terminology for it would be. I have done so. Now, I don't want to come into any conclusions just yet. I'm going to have to review all the video that I took, all the tape. I got to review all of it. But I will say in this closing statement that indeed there's something going on. I don't know what. Now, part of me has to think logical and rational. I came into this place upon hearing the stories and reading the diary, the stories from the family, reading the diary from the late Amasol. And so, of course, that goes into your mind. Also, I was supposed to meet some family members here because some were supposed to do the investigation with me, and no one showed up. So therefore, I was by myself, which adds more pressure as the daytime came into nighttime. So therefore, I'm a human being, even though I don't believe in paranormal entities or spirits or unforeseen forces. Put in that situation, the mind can play tricks on you. But I will review the tape, and I will admit right now that even without reviewing the tape, there's something different going on than I've ever experienced in any of the documentaries that I've done in the past. I've never had an experience like I've had today. I will say that. All right. So finally, for the last part of this paranormal investigation, I remember some of the family members saying that the late Amasol used to love to watch TV and then just fall asleep on the couch. They said they wondered why he had a bed, because he fell asleep more on the couch than he did on the bed. So I'm gonna, as my last video, that's what I'm gonna emulate, is the late Amasol, his resting, as I need some rest myself. I'm pretty worn out for the day. So that will be the last task that I will do for today, and then I'll review the footage and we'll go on from there. Okay, so his nieces and nephews said that Uncle Amasol, he spent more time sleeping on the couch than he did in his own bed. So I'm gonna recreate that now. So yeah, going on the couch, I got the pillows and everything. He has trophies up there. Oh, that's cool. And yeah, so I'm going to go to sleep, and I'll see you guys in the morning. Okay. What the hell? What's that? Oh. There's a big garbage can outside. That's what that sound was. Okay. They got me for a minute there. Thought I heard something. I think someone's outside. I mean, it'll just be my luck the day that I stay here. Someone's trying to rob the joint. Okay. I'm getting up. Sounds like someone's outside, for sure. And in situations like this is what you do. You get a weapon. I saw something. Okay. Okay. Everything's quiet now. We're fine now. I'm bugging out over nothing. Absolutely nothing is happening. I just put this on the side. I don't want to stab myself when I go to sleep. Come on, man. Now every time I want to rest, what the hell? There's something. Hold on a second. Sounds like there's something coming from the kitchen. Okay. Definitely there's a sound coming from the kitchen. Oh. This camera won't turn around now. Come on. Hello? 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 Who's there? Hello? Show yourself! Who's there? What the fuck are you? Get back! Get